All right, so today we're gonna we're
Yeah.
diving into something truly legendary.
Sounds good.
The Chicago Bulls dynasty
All right.
of the 1990s.
Okay.
6 championships in 8 years.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Almost unheard of.
That kind of dominance.
Yeah, and the impact they had led by Michael Jordan, of course.
Right.
Went way beyond basketball.
Absolutely.
You're talking at a cultural shift.
It's true. So before we get into all of that, the championships and the iconic moments, let's set the stage a little bit before Jordan.
Okay.
What were the Bulls like?
Oh, man. Picture this, a struggling franchise.
Yeah,
0 championships, a revolving door of coaches.
I can imagine.
It wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
Reggie Theus, who played for them in the early 80s, actually described the team as about as bad and awful as it could be.
Wow, that is quite a statement. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a far cry
Yeah.
from the powerhouse that they became.
Total turnaround story.
Yeah, so how did that happen?
Well, it all started with the arrival of a young Michael Jordan.
Cool.
He was already a college basketball star at UNC.
Right.
2-time College Player of the Year, hit the game-winning shot in the NCAA championship as a freshman.
Oh, wow.
Even graduated with the degree in cultural geography.
I did not know that about the geography degree.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, but I do remember that game-winning shot.
Of course.
What a way to announce yourself
Yeah.
on the national stage.
For sure, he certainly made an impact. And then in 1984, the Bulls drafted him the same year that Hakeem Olajuwon and Charles Barkley were drafted.
Wow, can you imagine being a part of that draft class?
Oh, man, talk about a legendary group.
Yeah, so Jordan joins the Bulls, and what happens?
Well, his impact was immediate. He averaged 28.2 points a game his rookie season,
Wow,
and he snagged the Rookie of the Year award.
of course.
But there was this other moment, too, that really solidified his image.
You're talking about the shattered backboard
Yes,
during that Nike exhibition game in Italy, right?
exactly. It was like watching a force of nature.
It's true. But even with all of this early success, it wasn't always smooth sailing, was it?
No, not at all.
He faced some challenges, like the freeze out during the '85 All-Star game.
Right.
I remember reading that some of the veteran players were a little intimidated by his talent and rising fame.
Yeah, it's true. There were allegations that some veteran players, allegedly led by Isaiah Thomas,
Right.
weren't thrilled with the attention Jordan was receiving
Oh, wow.
and basically refused to pass him the ball during the game.
That's a wild to think about. I mean, this young, incredibly talented player coming in and just kind of shaking things up.
Yeah.
How did Jordan react to that?
Well, if anything, it seemed to fuel his competitive fire.
It seems like it.
Remember that broken foot he suffered during the 1985-86 season?
Yeah, that was a serious setback,
It was.
for sure.
But he came back from that injury and scored a playoff record, 63 points against the Boston Celtics.
Wow, what a statement.
Talk about resilience.
Yeah. So we have Jordan, this incredible talent,
Yeah.
but the team is still struggling to reach its full potential.
Right.
What was the missing ingredient?
I think the arrival of Phil Jackson as coach in 1989 was the turning point.
Okay, so Phil Jackson arrives,
Yeah,
brings a unique coaching style,
for sure.
and this revolutionary thing called the triangle offense.
Uh-huh.
So let's talk about the triangle offense.
Okay.
What was so special about it?
Well, it emphasized ball movement spacing, reading the defense, and reacting.
Okay.
It took the focus off just one player
Interesting.
and forced everyone to be involved.
So it was more of a team
It was a team effort.
effort.
It was incredibly difficult to defend because it was less about set plays
Okay.
and more about creating opportunities based on what the defense gave you.
So it was more adaptable
Yes,
and fluid.
very much so.
Did other teams try to copy it?
Absolutely. It became incredibly influential.
I bet.
And you saw elements of it being adopted by other teams.
Interesting.
But the Bulls were the ones who truly mastered it.
Of course. And it helps to have Michael Jordan executing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that doesn't hurt.
But he couldn't have done it alone, right?
Right. Scottie Pippen emerged as the perfect complement to Jordan.
Yeah,
Their chemistry was undeniable.
it's true.
And they became one of the most dominant duos in NBA history.
It's fascinating to see how the pieces started to come together.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about individual talent.
Right.
It was about teamwork,
Uh-huh.
strategy, and finding the right combination of players.
Exactly.
Who else was instrumental
Well,
in the Bulls' success?
there were several other key players who contributed to the dynasty.
Yeah.
Horace Grant,
Right.
Dennis Rodman, who arrived in 1995,
Okay.
Steve Kerr,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Kukoc,
These are names every basketball fan knows.
for sure.
What was it like having all those personalities
Oh,
on
man.
one team?
Phil Jackson was a master at managing personalities and egos.
I bet.
For example, he even allowed Dennis Rodman to take a mid-season break to Las Vegas.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
He let Rodman go to Vegas
he did.
in the middle of the season.
Jackson understood that to get the best out of his players,
Wow.
sometimes he needed to employ unconventional methods.
Yeah.
Clearly it worked.
That's incredible.
It is.
So we've got the talent,
Mhm.
the coach,
Yep.
the strategy.
Right.
It seems like everything's falling into place.
And that brings us to the beginning of their incredible championship run.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the stage is set.
Yeah.
The Bulls have all the pieces in place.
Mm-hmm.
A star player,
Right.
a brilliant coach,
Mhm.
a revolutionary strategy,
Yeah. Yeah.
a solid supporting cast.
Okay.
What happens next?
Well, they go on to win 6 NBA championships.
Wow.
Think about that for a sec. 6 championships in 8 years.
I mean, that's a level of dominance.
It is.
That's almost hard to grasp.
Yeah.
I mean, they must have faced some incredible opponents along the way.
Oh, absolutely. They went up against some of the biggest names and most talented teams in NBA history.
Like who?
Well, in 1991, they faced Magic Johnson and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, wow. That must have been an epic battle.
It was.
Two legendary teams going head-to-head.
Classic matchup, for
Who
sure.
emerged victorious.
The Bulls took home their first championship, defeating the Lakers in a hard-fought series.
I bet.
Yeah.
So that was a turning point for the franchise.
It was a defining moment.
Yeah, I bet the energy in Chicago was electric
God, yeah, the city was buzzing.
after that win.
It was a celebration like no other.
And then,
Then in 1992, they went up against Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trail Blazers.
okay, another powerhouse team.
Yeah, they were tough.
How did that series play out?
It was another intense series, but the Bulls were just too strong.
Really?
Yeah, they secured their second championship, proving that their first win was no fluke.
Yeah, their momentum was building
Oh, yeah, for sure.
with each victory.
Definitely.
So 2 down.
And it didn't stop there. In 1993, they faced Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, so that must have been a clash of titans.
It was.
I mean, 2 of the most dominant players of that era going head-to-head.
Two forces colliding.
What happened?
The Bulls completed their first three-peat, solidifying their place in NBA history.
3 championships in a row. That's
Yeah.
incredible. But then, if I remember correctly, something unexpected happened.
You're right, Michael Jordan made the shocking decision to retire from basketball.
What?
Yeah, he decided to pursue a childhood dream and play professional baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a major shift.
it was.
I mean, it's fascinating to think about what might have been if he had stayed in baseball.
It certainly speaks to his incredible athleticism and his willingness to take on new challenges.
It does, but the Bulls weren't the same without him, were they?
No, they made it to the playoffs, but were eliminated in the second round.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he was such a pivotal part
He was the heart and soul of that team.
of their success.
Absolutely.
But then after a short stint in baseball,
Yeah,
Jordan returned to basketball.
he did in 1995.
It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Like a comeback story for the ages.
And what happened when he returned? Did the Bulls immediately pick up where they left off?
They did. It was remarkable.
Really?
They went on to win another 3 consecutive championships
Wow.
from 1996 to 1998, completing their second three-peat.
So 6 championships in 8 years, they really were a dynasty.
A dynasty for the ages.
Who did they face during the second three-peat?
Well, first they defeated Gary Payton and Sean Kemp's Seattle Supersonics.
Okay.
Then they took on Karl Malone and John Stockton's Utah Jazz twice.
Wow, those were some legendary battles. I mean, the Jazz were such a formidable team.
They were tough opponents, but the Bulls were on another level.
It seems like it. And during this period, they also achieved a record-breaking 72 wins in the 1995-96 season.
Oh, yeah, they were rewriting the record books.
72 wins.
Yeah.
Was that a record at the time?
Yes, it was, and it stood for several years.
Wow.
It's a testament to their consistency, their talent, and their commitment to winning.
It's like they were rewriting the record books.
They were unstoppable.
With each season, what were some of the other standout moments during those championship runs?
Well, there was Jordan's iconic flu game performance in the 1997 finals.
Oh, yeah. The flu game is legendary.
He was battling a severe flu but refused to let his team down.
He was clearly playing through immense pain and fatigue.
He was, but his will to win was even stronger.
Wow, what a testament to his competitive spirit.
Absolutely.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was named Finals MVP for all 6 championships.
You are correct. That's a feat unmatched by any other player in NBA history.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine anyone replicating that level of dominance.
It's truly one of a kind.
But the Bulls' impact extended far beyond the court, didn't it?
Absolutely. Their success had a profound effect on the city of Chicago.
Yeah. How so?
Well, they brought a sense of pride and unity to the city, especially during a time when it was needed.
So their wins weren't just about basketball.
No, they were about something much bigger.
They were about something bigger. What were some of the ways their impact was felt in Chicago?
Well, for starters, they brought a sense of hope and optimism to a city that had been struggling.
Yeah,
Their games were a source of excitement and entertainment, and they helped put Chicago on the map globally.
I bet.
Their success also had a positive economic impact, boosting tourism and merchandise sales.
So they really helped revitalize the city.
Yeah,
It's amazing to think about the ripple effect
it really is.
they had.
Yeah.
But it's also important to acknowledge that there were some less positive consequences
That's true.
to this intense fandom.
Right.
The championship riots that sometimes followed their victories were a reminder
Yeah.
that even the most joyous celebrations can have a darker side.
Yeah, it's a complex issue.
What were some of the factors that contributed to those riots?
Well,
Was it just pure excitement boiling over, or were there other underlying issues at play?
here's probably a combination of factors.
It's a reminder that, yeah, even in moments of like collective joy and celebration,
Yeah,
there can be underlying tensions and complexities.
for sure.
But let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about what many refer to as the Jordan effect.
Okay.
I mean, his influence transcended the sport, didn't it?
Absolutely. Michael Jordan became a global icon, a cultural phenomenon.
Right.
He wasn't just a basketball player, he was a brand, a symbol, an inspiration.
His impact on the game itself was undeniable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he inspired countless young athletes
Mhm.
to pick up a basketball and dream of soaring through the air like he did.
Right.
I mean, did he change the way the game was played too?
He did. He raised the bar in terms of athleticism and skill,
Okay.
and teams had to develop new strategies just to try and contain him. They called them the Jordan rules.
The Jordan rules, that sounds almost mythical.
Yeah.
What were some of those strategies?
It was a combination of physicality and double teaming,
Okay.
designed to wear him down and force other players to beat them.
So they were really trying to take him out of the game.
Pretty much, it was basically a testament to how much of a threat he was on the court.
So in a way, even trying to stop him ended up changing the way the game was played.
Exactly. His impact was undeniable.
What about his impact off the court?
Hmm.
I mean, we touched on the Jordan effect earlier. How did that manifest itself?
Well, it was everywhere. His partnership with Nike and the creation of the Air Jordan brand was a game changer.
Okay.
It revolutionized the sneaker industry and
Yeah.
changed the way athletes were marketed.
Air Jordans became iconic, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah.
I remember everyone wanting a pair.
Oh, yeah, they were more than just shoes. They were a cultural statement.
Yeah.
And Nike's marketing genius was undeniable. Remember when the NBA tried to ban certain Air Jordans
Yes.
because of their color scheme?
I do. That just made them even more popular.
It did. It's amazing how they turned that controversy into a marketing win.
It's true. That's the power of Michael Jordan.
Uh-huh.
And the Air Jordan brand, he was more than just an athlete. He was a symbol of aspiration,
Right.
determination, and success.
The Be Like Mike campaign really captured that, didn't it?
It did.
It wasn't just about basketball. It was about striving for greatness in all aspects of life.
Exactly. And his impact extended beyond sports and into fashion, music, and entertainment.
Oh, yeah. He was everywhere.
He was even featured in a movie with Bugs Bunny.
That's right, Space Jam.
So from a struggling franchise to a global dynasty,
Mm-hmm.
the Chicago Bulls story is truly remarkable.
It's a story about talent, teamwork, leadership, and the pursuit of excellence.
Yeah.
They left an undeniable mark on basketball and beyond.
It's fascinating to see how all the pieces came together.
Mm-hmm.
The right players, the right coach, the right strategy, and the right cultural moment.
It all aligned perfectly.
What do you think is the most enduring part of Michael Jordan's legacy?
That's a great question. Is it the 6 championships?
Yes.
The gravity-defying dunks, the iconic moments that are still replayed today,
Right.
the Jordan effect that continues to influence sports and culture?
It's probably a combination of all those things his story continues to inspire and captivate,
It does.
reminding us that anything is possible with dedication, perseverance, and a bit of magic.
The Chicago Bulls dynasty wasn't just about winning. It was about pushing boundaries, challenging conventions, and leaving a legacy that would transcend the game itself. They set a standard that many teams still aspire to reach.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today exploring the rise of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls dynasty. What are your final thoughts for our listeners as we wrap up this deep dive?
I think the Chicago Bulls journey is a reminder that success is rarely a solo endeavor. It's about the collective effort of talented individuals working together towards a common goal led by someone with a vision and the ability to inspire. And sometimes it takes a little bit of magic to achieve something truly extraordinary.